Justice.
Justice now.
Well, welcome to another broadcast of Obstruction of Justice. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. I can't wait, guys. Look, this is where we get a chance to discuss general information about relevant topics of the day, legislation, economics, communities, and my favorite, businesses. Now, today we are joined by award winning entrepreneur, publisher, and author, Mr. Kareem Jackson.
Well, hey, you guys, how are you? Hello, Kansas City.
Yes, I'm so glad that you joined today. Oh my goodness. You know, we're new to meeting, but here's the thing. I checked out some of your broadcasts. Brother,
Thank
we are
you.
like-minded. You are, when you're saying when you're award winning and what you've done, look, we don't have time to talk about the accolades and accomplishments that you've done it with your life here, okay? But we're going to get a little piece of what's going on, what's new with you, huh?
Thank you.
What I want to do, though, for those that don't know you, okay, can you just give us just an overview of who is Brother Kareem Jackson?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for being here. I'm letting me be here, Ann. I appreciate it. It is so good to meet you. I'm sure that we probably met before. I was all over Kansas City. I was running around all over town between Kansas City, Chicago, all over before I decided to reinvent myself, revamp my life, and I outsourced my business to Asia. Got into meditation, reinvented myself, and then saw that life was not about bling bling and material wealth and that whole thing that folks go through. And that's when I became an author. But award winning, I'll tell you some good awards that are actually bigger now than they were before because I was Black, right? And Kansas City was very racist before. I was the first Black to ever have the Masterpiece Award in Ingram's magazine. That's one. I have a resolution from Mayor Kay Barnes for our publication that we did there. And that was the first Black publication that she'd ever given an award to. I was Black Entrepreneur of the Year, Young Entrepreneur of the Year. I'm not so young anymore. Back in the day when they were first getting started with the Black Chamber in Kansas City, not the Kansas City, Kansas Chamber, although I do know KCK as well. And mainly, I started my career. I'm a serial entrepreneur since I was in the 6th grade, Ann. I was grass cutting. I'm from a Jackson family of music and business. And then I grew up overseas. I went to American International School in Lagos, Nigeria. Then went back I grew up in California, high school graduation there, joined the U.S. Air Force girl, and then got out. So I like business, forget the military. I left after 2 years. And Kansas City was where I launched my big known business, which was Minority Success. And I experienced so much racism and saw the Black community go through so much. I was blessed being from the family that I'm from and the education that I have, but I saw my 500 Black business clients advertised in our magazine go through so much discrimination and racism. We were smeared by the Star, smeared by the local papers because they did not want Black folks to have a publication. And now to see the Star recently and apologize publicly for their racist past, I messaged them like, well, where's my damn money? Forget the apology. You killed more Black businesses. They slandered us. They pitted us against each other. They wouldn't promote us. And where I got my claim to fame, Ann, is that I did a challenge to the Star and the Pitch and Ingram's and all the top magazines before to have a Black section way back in the day. Mm-hmm. And the only one that did it was Ingram's. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they have a ton of Black folks at Ingram's.
Okay. Yeah. Well, see, back in the day, I'm just going to kind of put my little plug in. Back in the day, I actually did an interview with Ingram's, because I'm a techie. So I wanted to get in there and work with their database. Okay. And I went through, put my best foot forward. And the lady, she actually wanted to hire me, but there was some, pushback. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now this was about maybe 20 years ago or so. maybe a little longer because I
Mhm.
ain't tell my age on that one. But yeah, so there was, I understand that there's pushback. There was pushback back in the day, especially because being an African American wasn't you always have to prove and overachieve everything. And when I went out there, I made sure that I was top of the line. And even now, when I work with clients to go in and do
Mhm.
do
Mhm.
our pitch to say, hey, we can get the work done, I do make sure that I cross my T's and dot my I's to impress them to the point to where they know that we can get the work done. So, but we still have to jump over big hurdles to do it. I'm not surprised. Now, one thing that you did say that really kind of made my ears perk up is how the media has played a part to say, okay, well, you want to do business with us. You want to put your information in our papers, in our mediums. You want to use our media. You want to use us. You really
Mhm.
want to stay away from the African American type of media. And because we really do reach the crowd. But here's the thing. I think that now that things have kind of flipped and where it's been socially acceptable to
No, black is trending globally now.
yes. Oh,
They're followers. They're not. It's already
you know,
trending. But
I
yeah.
mean, yeah. So now things business isn't all that great. Well, what we're gonna do, we're gonna push the African American actor or the African American look or the I don't like the term mixed. I always ask the question, mixed with what? We're human beings, but the multicultural person. I mean, what's going on here? So now we're good enough to market the businesses and be placed in media and
Mhm.
be the forefront of the thought of media. And it's a pendulum. We black was cool, black power, and it was cool to be black in the early 70s too. And I was there. All right, the big froze. But then, of course, once the money came rolling in, they wanted to kind of keep us, in the 80s, you were on the back burner type thing. In 90s, oh my goodness, you were nowhere to be found, other than where they wanted you, as far as the oppression of
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
different movies and genres and things like that weren't uplifting. That was during the big drug heyday and three strikes and all that crap. But I think that what I'm hearing is that now it's global. It's cool to be black throughout the whole world, right? That's what I'm hearing. Now, I do want to say this is a point, guys. You're not in the United States right now, are you, my brother?
No, girl, I
Yeah.
got tired of it. And you see
Yeah.
behind me the sunshine?
Yeah.
It's summertime here. That's the real window.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, it's daytime too, by the way.
It's day. Yeah.
It's 9
And it's
o'clock
the
in the morning,
next
9:30
day.
in the
Oh,
morning.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, Sister Ann, the overachieve. Let me tell you this real quick that I learned about this, and I'll say this to black folks, especially in Kansas City.
Mhm.
The way that the racism and the overachieving and the slavery and all that crap that you were saying, you had to overachieve, dot your I's, cross your T's, that is their biggest mistake for black Americans. And when
Okay.
you travel the world, when you meet blacks from Australia, blacks from Asia, there's blacks everywhere, or originally from Asia, originally from Australia, originally from Europe, right?
Hmm.
That fundamental thing that we didn't just, most of them, for some reason they cowered down, and then now you don't see aborigines black basketball stars or entrepreneurs or politicians. Even you don't see itas in Asia that are successful, and you don't see that. But what that did for us, that overachieving, when you see those pictures with the black girl ready to run, and then she's got all these obstacles and the white guy has no obstacles in his suit, that is killing them right now, because now they can't compete with the Negro globally.
I always
If
say that,
they can't do it, they can't do it, and there is no way in the world the average white guy can compete without racism and discrimination, because they've gotten so lazy over the last 500 years, and they know that their whiteness and their money, because they have money now, usually more than we do, they have
Mhm.
credit more than we do, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
We look better. We're sexier. We overachieve by default because we've been trained and bred to do that. So when the shackles are left off, when I believe that the shackles really can't leave you unless you leave the States, at least for a little bit, like, do business, dual residency like I do, because then you realize when you're in the room, they can't, everything that they lied about, from the Aunt Jemima syrup to the Jack Daniels to all these things, when they're sitting in front of someone at a business meeting, they can't produce.
Mm-hmm.
But we can, because we always have. Who are the best maids? Who are the best car washers? Who makes the best fried chicken? KFC is 5-star restaurant here in Asia, honey.
Oh my goodness.
Can you imagine? I could take a client to KFC for a meeting, and they would think that I was the best Negro in town. Like, wow, this is the best fried. Wow, and it's expensive.
Oh,
it's not
okay.
cheap.
Well, it's a little too salty for me. I think it's a little too salty for
when you leave America, you'll be missing some fried. You won't care if it's salty. You'll be like, just give me some American fried chicken.
No, I'm gonna be missing. See, you forgot my brother, Kansas City barbecue.
And my family is Gates Barbecue.
Yes.
Shout out to Arzelia Gates. I got you. All of the things that they criticize Black folks for in America are top around the world.
Okay.
Watermelon is top. Soda pop is top.
Mm-hmm.
Fried chicken is top. Soul food, cornbread. Mm-hmm. Anything that we've produced that they criticize back home, you think that Negroes are loud, brothers are loud in the hood. You ain't been to Mexico. You ain't been to Asia. You ain't seen no fiesta. You think we loud. At least we don't have karaoke machines on our front porch every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those things, when you travel, you're like, wait a second.
But, I do hear some podcasters and some other woke, that's the new term here, European Americans say that they have dual citizenship now. They have dual citizenship, and that they do encourage people to travel the world, see things in a different way, because really it's gone not just black and white, but it's about caste systems in other countries and economics, right? So
but we can handle that.
Yeah. I mean, because that's
easy for Black Americans. Like, oh, caste, okay, I can make some money. What I mean? Like, America, we've lifted our caste. Mm-hmm. I think back in the 70s, it was 40 or 50% poverty rate in the Black community. Now it's only 20%. So we can lift ourselves up economically. We've done that. So we would have gotten out of the caste system. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing with they don't understand racism abroad.
It's different. And I will agree.
They don't know. No, that's not racism. That's discrimination. Mm-hmm. That's caste system, things like that. Mm-hmm. But literally telling you that you have to bust your butt to get a job at Ingram's. And now they're begging for Black IT women now in the world. Dreaming. I just got sent a press release from the Black Tech Association where they've got 10,000 Black tech jobs. $4.5 million campaign just to get Blacks to get in tech, because we are the coolest. We are the best. We are the hip, and we are the future. But you don't hear about that in the States, because this is in Europe.
No.
4.5 million they put into a Black tech group. They need 10,000 tech people.
Oh my goodness. We'll talk. Because we gotta talk. We'll definitely talk.
Let me share this. Let me share your stuff. Everybody, this is going to be good. I'm listening to you, girl. I'm going to make sure that everybody that views me sees that I'm on your show today.
Well, that sounds good. I'm glad that you're here. Now, you're an entrepreneur. You're an award-winning entrepreneur, and you've been doing this a long time. Just like you shared, look, since you were in the 6th grade, that's a long time. Now, most 6th graders aren't they're looking to ask dad or mom for some money. Okay. They're not looking to get their own money. Right. So this question here, and I have a question. We went over a couple of questions, but I don't know if you've had a chance to think about it, but I don't even think you have to worry about thinking about this question. But what is the number one key to starting a new business, in your opinion?
Sister, first of all, let me explain why I was in business when I was younger. Is that I came from a family. My father Ajax, Anthony Jackson, very known in Kansas City as well. Grew up with Arzelia Gates. I grew up with the Carters. I grew up with the Haley family, the Roots family, all in Kansas City. Remember back in the day, Jody Watley?
Yeah, I do. I had an exercise video by Jody Watley.
She's from Kansas City, right? So I grew up with all these people. My father managed Babyface, MC Hammer. My aunties are in Las Vegas. They still in music. My just a business music family, because my father and my uncles, my father graduated from KU, but couldn't read. Imagine that.
Oh,
Basketball star, graduated from KU.
You said the magic word there, basketball.
Right? So my family was like, you need to know business. Mm-hmm. They were like, if you want to go to college, we'll support you, but that's it. But we really don't give a damn about that. We really want you to know business. And I was always in my family business because I grew up with the Gates. I grew up with, right? So everyone in our family circle back in the day were hustling. Even my godfather, he's one of the ones that let out of prison recently. When Obama was in office, he was acquitted, or when they release you or whatever, when they leave office. I grew up with the Dowdys. Big shout out to Sam Dowdy, that my godfather, his brother, the Dowdy family. Back in the day, that's who I grew up with. My great aunt had a Good Time house on Park on 31st Street.
Okay.
The house is gone now. They got townhomes there. But I grew up with this family that really, you couldn't get hired in Kansas City if you were a Black person.
That's very true.
So entrepreneurship was our rite of passage, and I grew up with the scripture of Jesus Christ was a carpenter. So my father was a carpenter. He was in construction. That was our family business. We helped build some of the first Gates barbecues, back in the day. We built many churches in Kansas City. And I tried a couple of times getting jobs here and there. And I was always clean shaven, really great fade.
Right. This is what you
Billy's
do.
Barbershop, my other godfather on Prospect. Shout out to Billy's Barbershop. Jobs were not an option for what I wanted to do. I think that's what it is. And now I see brothers back home making $8 an hour working a job. What the hell is that? Like, how is that possible? We are so talented. There should be no Blacks working minimum wage. None.
Well, what I'm hearing though, Brother Kareem, and I know we're going to go back to answering that, is that you had the support. No, the number one key. You had, you're explaining it. You had the support. Everyone you knew had business, and they weren't going to allow for you not to think business minded. Okay. Now,
it wasn't an option. They actually told me, if we're not paying for your college.
Well, I told my kids that
we'll give you money for a business though. And that's how I started. In 6th grade, wonderful. I was just wandering around the neighborhood with my best friend in San Diego. I went to high school and junior high in San Diego. In California. I didn't grow up actually in Kansas City, but my family's from Kansas City. Cutting grass. And we had a partner, and we bought Vans tennis shoes, and we wanted record albums. That was the whole business plan. But then when you're in school, in high school, and you're making $1,000 a week, because after that, I had a car wash. And, Black folks, we the best car wash detailers in town, right? Now you can't touch the Black car wash detail shop. Well, I did very well in high school. I had staff. I had Mexican working for me because I was in California. So I had day workers that worked in. I had bikini girls on the weekends. And when you're in school and you don't need no free lunch, you got a car. Everybody in school went to my car wash. I was popular, right? You get spoiled, and then you realize, why am I begging for a job? Which my parents were right. Look at the Gates. I grew up with them. They didn't have all that back in the day, But where would they work and make that money? Carter Broadcast Group. Where would Mike and Chris and all those people work when they, to do what they're doing? What job would give that to them? And in Kansas City, when I was young, all of these people I know personally, they tried to get jobs.
Yeah.
They were not hiring Black folks. I was a little kid watching them being frustrated or being fired or being discriminated against. You mentioned the mixed thing. So Arzelia Gates was going through that. Right. And of course, Mike Carter, his wife, right. Their kids were going through that. So we just felt like, well, if we own our own, we can protect our kids, and it wasn't about money back in the day. That's one thing I will say. Okay, let me get back to your question. I'm sorry, sister.
No, my brother, go ahead.
What back in the day, it wasn't about money, whereas now the white folks have brainwashed black folks, especially in the Midwest, to think everything's about bling bling and jewelry and showing off and buying their stuff, when they don't realize that. But a broke entrepreneur is richer than a gainfully employed worker.
Okay.
$1 to an entrepreneur is worth $10 to a worker. One, I don't pay taxes first. Two, I have freedom. I can work anywhere in the world. You can't do that. And three, I can say F you tomorrow and walk away, and I own my company. And then also, you can't fire me for my dreadlocks, for my beard, for the way I talk, for whatever I want to, you can't. So I own it. And as long as the public and the customers and the community like me, which is what happened to Gates, the barbecue is the bomb.
Yeah.
First, they criticized black folks. They didn't really call you Gates back in the day. The black folks for yelling, "Hey, may I help you?" Remember that? Way back? They criticized.
Yeah.
The media was like, "What, these rude Negro? What the hell?" Right? But then it became a trademark. And they realized eventually they were yelling at you because they got 30 folks in line.
Right.
And now they were like, "Oh, okay." And now you see white folks copying. Now you see Arthur Bryant's, all these, white folks popping a masterpiece.
Yeah, well, we don't do Bryant's, and I don't care if I get hit by that, because back in the day, Arthur Bryant's, you couldn't go to their front door and get, if you were African American, you had to go to the back door to get your barbecue. So,
and not back in the day, we ain't old.
No.
We are not old.
You had to go to the back, but that was something that my auntie, shout out to Lou's Cafe, back is no longer there, but Lou's Cafe.
On the sale?
No, this was on Vine Street. We were the Vine Street family. On Vine Street, Lou's Cafe. But she didn't teach me anything. She taught me where to go for those African American businesses that thought that they were gonna cut their black folks out from doing, black folks had to be discrimination in their own business. So she was like, "No, we don't go here. We go to Gates, because this is why we don't go to Arthur Bryant's, because they would not serve us. That we had to go to the back if we wanted to get some barbecue from Arthur Bryant's." But Gates didn't care. He's like, "Okay, come on, you got your rib money, So it was about even being aware of the discrimination among other black businesses. Now, here's the thing. I'm hearing good stuff, but we got lost somewhere, Brother Kareem, because where are the businesses? Where are the businesses? I think you answer the question. The number one key to starting a new business, in your opinion, is possibly the support. Is it the support from the family? Is it the training, the teaching, the education of starting a business?
I think that the first thing to start into business is get into business for freedom, not money.
Okay.
That was what inspired me as a kid, is I wanted to be free to do it. It wasn't about being rich. It wasn't about driving Mercedes. I wasn't begging to drive their cars. I grew up very well. I went to private school. I can't say that money is not, but my father left Kansas City because of the racism. He couldn't get a job, and he went overseas, and then he became successful overseas, and then went back to the States, successful already, and things like that. So I really think that the problem is that now we're comparing some corporate job guy with tons of credit driving a Mercedes to someone with a little business, and they don't realize, but back in the day, Gates was a little business. Back in the day, KPRS was a little office before they got those offices where they are now. They had it was a little bitty, a little bitty station, a little bitty Negro station, So they were like a niche, and they were in the Midwest, competing with the big boys. And now they're one of the oldest, and they make a ton of money, and they have Hummers, and they live well. They don't think that, no, get into it to be free, to be black, to be what you want to be, and to have what you want to have. And then, of course, if you're lucky and you become successful, then you can enjoy it. But a lot of us are now brainwashed with this materialism.
Well, the materialism now, yes, and the materialism for the now factor. And the material, I got to have it now. Okay. Now, here's where I think job comes into play. If I can get the job, I'll get the little 850, but I'm going to save. I'm going to learn that work ethic. I'm going to learn how they're doing. Yeah. How do they do business? I'm going to learn the job so that the good things that they're doing and the not so good things that they're doing, and then I'm going to bring it, but I'm going to look ahead. I always thought, even for myself, I have quite a few things in the fire myself, and really being unemployed. And I tell people I've been unemployed and underemployed all my life, but that doesn't mean that I haven't been productive. Being an entrepreneur, it's still a hustle. And it's different. It's a different way of thinking about making money. Not that, the slave mentality. Don't get me wrong. If a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. And this is something that the Lord says in the word, but he didn't say that you had to go work for somebody else, And like you had mentioned, in that culture, it was always about what is it that family did. Even Paul, the Apostle Paul, his family, they were tent makers, right? Mm-hmm. So you had a lineage, something that you could.
And
yeah,
they look at all the great. They forget, but none of these folks worked at Sprint.
Yeah,
none of these folks worked at Walmart.
Well, and even the folks that did work at Sprint aren't working at Sprint anymore. They let you go. Worked at Sprint.
They work at T-Mobile now. But my point is that people read the Bible and they don't realize, one, these are black folks. They're not white. If you travel the world, there is no way in hell. I've been to Africa, okay? Ain't no way in hell he had blue. Ain't no one in the entire continent running around back in those days. Remember, he was poor. So you was working outside. So you should at least be really tan.
Well, yeah. And of course, being a Hebrew, they're rich color people. They have color to them, but
and those people. So my point is, they're more like us. The lifestyle, the business, and being a business person around the world, an entrepreneur, is very respected. Whereas in America, it's not. Maybe more now that COVID hit and folks are like, well, that side hustle saved my butt.
Everyone is looking since COVID hit. I think that even myself, I'm going to, say, look, I've gotten more aggressive since COVID. It's like, wait a minute here. It's not coming so easy. So let me revamp. Let me look and see what it is, the gifts that I've been given. And see, this is what I try to encourage people to look at. The gifts that you've been given, like you had already mentioned. What can they do? What can we do with the gifts that we've been given so that we can make money? What are the gifts and talents? Why should I take my gifts and talents and go sell them to a company for a wage? Now I say, look, a job, let's pay the rent, let's pay the mortgage. So if you can
I've had jobs. I've had,
sure.
But I'm still an entrepreneur though.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like if you wait tables and in LA, but of course everyone's a model. They're an actor. They want to be like that.
Well,
they're waiting and they acknowledge it when they talk to you. They acknowledge, I'm waiting tables because I'm trying to get discovered for this movie. And whereas we need to say, I'm working at McDonald's, but I'm also selling on my my own online store, or I'm also cutting hair in my living room or my kitchen.
I'm saving the money, or I'm setting the money aside because here is my business plan to develop it. Now, I think what's hit us too is that what I'm hearing from you and what you've experienced in your life is that you've had a circle of entrepreneurs in your life. And there's probably generational. Your dad was an entrepreneur. He went away and did well. So there's a generation of entrepreneur thought process whereas we being consumers, this is what they call us here in America. We're not even Americans. We're consumers. I'm like, what are you talking about? Look, I hate
$4 trillion US dollar consumer market though.
Yeah, well,
you're number 9 in the world. You beat out all the countries in the world and the money that you guys spend in consuming. So that's power. But I got you.
And I hear, yes, that's power. But what they're doing, it's like a slap in the face when they call me a consumer, because I should have more. I have more knowledge about. I don't spend all of my money. Nothing No one, nothing
Oh, I see.
gets
I see
my
what you're saying.
money. All of my money is my point. The only one that can get my money is my God, and I give it to him because he's given me everything, and I've taken whatever I have, I give it back to him. Now I will say that, and I
And I
do
will
that
say
with
this
my
is
life.
that
I
having a
honor,
strong faith, and
huh?
having a strong faith is really good too, because as
Okay.
you do travel, that's another asset Black Americans have that most don't really have, is our understanding, our relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of folks really, we can celebrate the small things. I remember celebrating at 3 in the morning, drinking, smoking, partying with my homies, the first commercial spot we ever had on KPRS 103.3 FM back in the day for my
Mm-hmm.
magazine.
Mm-hmm.
We thought that was, now I've had 1,000 commercials all over all over the world. But that first time we were like, whereas a lot of countries, they can't really enjoy the blessings
Mm-hmm.
like we can, which was what drives us.
Mm-hmm.
They can't really look at something like, especially like Black women like you do, and it's empty, but we can see something,
He
which in
gives us
business that
insight and
turns
vision.
into vision.
Mm-hmm.
That turns into, creativity and entrepreneurship. But that belief that God has a plan for me, so let me do this and achieve this, it's very unique to Black Americans.
Well,
Very
that
unique.
that's a gift. That's a gift, because here's the thing, the self-control that we learn as Christians too. I'm not just Christian today and then in the morning when it's time to go meet a client, I'm someone else. I mean, there's some
Mhm.
discipline, there's some self-control, and the gifts that he teaches us, the things and the lessons that we learn from being a believer. That right there is the one that makes us go, including the faith. I mean,
It's
because
true.
without
It's
the
true.
faith, it's like, look, where's my job at? What y'all paying? Because look,
Mhm.
I'm done with this. No, we can,
It's true. It's true.
we
And
continue on.
I think that when they're starting in business, first of all, we couldn't get jobs before anyway. What happened to us?
Mm-hmm.
When I hear that question, how do we start? I'm thinking, what do you mean? One, lifestyle change.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you have these expenses why are you living so high on the hog? Why are you broke? You know, Answering that question, and then getting rid of crap. I've had no heat in my house and can't stay during the wintertime. I've had my car repossessed. I've had evictions. I mean, my demise back in the day was very public. I was on every news station,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but people didn't realize what I got out of that. The blessing from that
Mm-hmm.
was that I realized I didn't need all that crap.
Oh,
When you're
all
sitting
right.
there depressed for about 35 minutes or maybe a week, you're like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God,
What
how
am
am
I
I
gonna
home
do
on the
now?
couch? What the hell happened? And then you realize, oh my God, I'm debt free.
Mm-hmm.
I can create anything I want, anywhere I want, because now I don't have that lease anymore. My office is downtown and we're $10,000 a month
Oh
in
my
the Firestone
goodness.
building. Yeah. My house near the plaza was $3,500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
My Tahoe was $1,000 a month.
Mm. That
And as
overhead.
a Black person, I
Mm-hmm.
thought I needed all that crap to
For
get the sale.
and see, this is something that you were talking about yesterday. What part of your subject was the thought process of thinking that you need all of this stuff just to do business. Okay,
Yeah,
which was the lie. What
to
is it?
succeed in business.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
thought that they wouldn't hire me if I wasn't wearing a suit. They
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't hire me. But then you hear these stories, I would get really offended because I knew these folks too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
When you see Zuckerberg and his freaking Adidas slides and shorts and getting
They
money
can
and
do it,
jail.
but we
And then
can't.
I'm thinking that's a great article, Forbes, but
Mm-hmm.
Negroes can't do that.
Mm-mm.
Even to this day, I recently had a merger that I was supposed to do, and the company, I don't wear suits anymore. I wore this for you, girl. I wore this
Thank
for you.
you. You look very handsome too. Thank you.
But he was like, "Well, I want you to be more professional and look more like this." And he sent me a picture of a brother on LinkedIn, and with a suit and a tie and everything like that. And I was like, "That suit ain't even. I got better suits than that. I just don't
Mm-hmm.
care." But I remember thinking in my head, I walked away from the deal because I thought, I don't need to do that. You don't do it. You're
Mm-hmm.
literally on a conference call with me wearing a wife beater, telling me I need to be in a suit.
Oh my goodness.
Of course, they were, what color they were. And I realized, nope, I'm not going back. And
Well,
God
because
stepped in again And he gave me a deal from another group in England who
Ah.
were less racist, right? And we flew out to went out to resort. We met at their house, swam, was drunk all weekend. This is, in their pool, got the deal. And I was wearing shorts and slippers and flip flops all weekend long. And it wasn't about the color. It was about the ideas that I had. And let me say this too, caveat, sister. Blacks are trending. Right now, white male companies are scared to death because they know that America is going to be on a 4-year apology tour, and black companies like you, black females in tech, they're begging for you. You can just name your price anywhere in the world pretty much because now they realize with all the things that we've done is that we are a $4 trillion market, 61 billion just in travel and tourism.
Well, and that's where the
company is now like, wait a second, y'all don't want niggas, we want them.
Yeah, that's where the consumerism comes in because they know the power of the dollar, but yet we don't.
But let me tell you this too, sister. Sorry to cut you off. No. It's not the consumerism; it's the fact that remember, if we make $4 trillion, how much money do we make for them?
Yeah, well, that's the point.
That's what they're seeing. Remember, we're making more money than any other national minority in the world. More than many countries, right, in the whole world, most countries in the whole world. So the countries, remember, my sponsors are Philippines Department of Tourism, my investors from England. I haven't had American clients in a decade. But in America, as blacks, we're begging for the white folks' money. We're begging for their jobs, and we don't realize the world is looking for you. It's just that we've been brainwashed for so long, and we were thinking that Africa was a jungle. We thought that if America was like this, then it must be worse everywhere else, and it's not.
No, it is a wonderful place. The world is the world. You have your pros and cons everywhere, but I don't just look at media, the common media. I look and listen to alternative media. I read between the lines. I listen through what I hear because I've been around a while to know what's really going on with this when they try to pull up one country and pull down another, but what I'm looking at too, what happened, how can African Americans, now we're on this, how can African Americans become more they stopped doing business with each other. I had an interview on one of the other obstruction of justice programs. And what I noticed is that there's the crab barrel effect in the community that is still there. And that's what's brought us to this point of not really understanding who we are as a force in the dollars and as a force in the gifts and talents, what we offer in our abilities. But the crab barrel effect, because if we're not encouraged and if we're not thought of by our own people, that kind of brings us down. It's like being in a family and then your parents don't love you. They won't support you. They're not telling, that's kind of what it's like. Because when you're looking at clients and clientele, they're not really they're not African American. My clientele they're not. Most of my clientele are of different cultures, right? So and they just won't do business with you.
Can I give you a caveat to that, Sister Ann?
Sure.
One is that's a blessing. It proves you're global. When I talk to white clients that I consult with, they love Black Americans because we know white folks. So the fact that you can get Blacks and anybody else is a blessing because most people around the world, that's what they dream of. That's the opposite. My Filipino clients, all their clients are Filipino. They wish they had some Negroes and some white folks. If you travel the world, it's like that. The other caveat is that my experience in Kansas City, I had 500 Black businesses that supported me. When I hit the fan, when they screwed me over, but the corporations and the big clients and the white clients, when they did what they did to me, Black folks. I felt them because I just couldn't keep it going. It was just, I couldn't explain what it was then. I had the support, so I don't have that experience. But if you're in tech, most of us aren't in that industry, which is why, that's an issue. I think it's 0.03% of Black folks are in tech. It's like 0.03%, something like that. And this was told to me by T-Mobile, tech and creatives. I'm the only Black media outsourcing business development guy in Asia, pretty much. So the thing is that we shouldn't look for our folks to support us.
Okay.
We should be looking globally. I think that right now, every Black person should be selling everything to everybody, because you know what? They can.
And
we can.
That's what it's about to me. And I think that, if your people, or if African Americans are going to support in a way, it's like, I kind of notice that, look, I just love everybody. We're human beings, right? So I want it in my business. I want to help. I'm an educator at heart. We do ASBNC training and consulting. We do computer corporate training services, content development. We just embrace all multicultural
things, in our company. And none of my clients are well, not now they are, but none of my clients were Black or American, for that matter, at the time. I mean, I did have, like, for example, when Hooters came to the Philippines for the first time, I did their marketing, their development for them. Things like that. Or, the U.S. American Embassy sponsored our events and things like that. But it's one of those things where I think the blessing for you is that not that we don't support, you can work with anybody.
Okay. Well, and that's
why white folks want Black folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you work in the corporation, they know more than Latinos or Asians or anyone. Black folks bring everybody else.
Well, I mean,
we can work with anybody.
Yeah. And that's good to know, because I think that's one of the big questions. And historically, the crab barrel effect, where, we see you getting higher. It's like, oh, I'm not going to do business with you. I'm going to take my money, somewhere else, and
it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I think that Black Americans, we support each other more than any other race in the world, though.
Oh,
besides, of course, if you're in a country and you're the only ones in that country,
right?
When you look at support, maybe Jewish people.
Oh, yeah.
But we rank higher than Jewish people.
That's interesting.
Financially, like we don't think about it because we know really rich Jewish people. But do you know a Jewish Beyonce? Do you know a Jewish Oprah? Do you know? Now, so if you're around the world, they don't even know who Jewish people are. They don't even. They're like, who are Jews? Jesus Christ was a Jew. Oh, really? It's like that because they think they're Black too. If you travel the world, they know where Mecca is.
Yeah,
they're like they have the picture of the blue-eyed guy on the wall, but they also know where the place is.
Everyone knows.
But I think that at the end of the day, the fact that you can have clients from anywhere, from every color, including Black folks, if they come to you, is the God's blessing.
Okay, all right.
Well, people can't.
White
folks can't do that.
We'll accept that. We'll accept that. I mean, because look, we just want to help people, and that's our main thing. We do good work, and we want to be a blessing, and just represent good business. That's the main thing. Just do some good business. I'm not going to get rich off of one little contract. Look, this is a good, fair contract. Let's do it again. And tell me about some other people that might need some help too.
Exactly.
Now, brother, we're going to have to get to your sites here. I need to get over here to your sites. I want to show let's go over here and go to your YouTube channel. Let me just share that for a minute. Now, guys, he is out here. His media is just full. Of course,
I meditate every day. It's my front yard.
Okay.
America, when I left the States 10 years ago, I'm going to outsource my company. It was like COVID. It was like the first time I could ever just enjoy life. I never knew that until I did. But yeah, the YouTube channel, mainly on my YouTube channel, I just talk to folks about business, but from a Black minimalist CEO type perspective, which is kind of not that popular. I don't have a whole lot of views and a lot of people that like my
Well,
channel.
I mean,
So please go there.
go there, like, share, and do what you need to do, everybody. But my point, let's not digress, because the truth is that we do have to start somewhere.
Mhm.
I applaud you for being here. You know, of course, my goals are, I have things that I want to get out. My love is Saturday and Sunday work. This is just good work where I get a chance to really communicate with people. So, but yeah, the numbers might not be there, but go out and listen and support. Sure. That, and they'll grow. They'll
But
grow.
the YouTube, I never really pushed it, the same as LinkedIn. And
Mm-hmm.
my website, tons of views there, social media, and they just don't show on YouTube because
Uh-huh.
people can go to my website and see my video. You know, I mean, that's what I pushed for a long time,
Uh-huh.
until recently. And one thing for Black folks too, if you're in business, the numbers don't matter. If I got 10 views, but I got 3 clients, that's
Mm-hmm.
better than 10,000 views and you ain't sold 1 t-shirt.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And that's where the other place where they fool Blacks in business. We think that they need a bunch of numbers. We don't. We're more influenceable.
Uh-huh.
The website, that's really great. I appreciate that. Even if you go to outs.us, outzed.us, we just launched the first, you like tech, we just launched the first Black tech business that's trying to compete with JobStreet and Monster.com, because I saw that when I outsourced my company, that Black folks, we didn't have help. No one helped me 10 years ago when I was losing my company. And I'm thinking, how can I not pay $100,000 from the print of a magazine when I saw white companies paying $30,000? And no one would tell me where, how, when I couldn't pay my payroll, my staff. No one told. I knew that they weren't paying a lot. That's it. Yeah, outs.us. Is it outs.us? .us?
Yeah, outs.us, best
Okay.
LinkedIn profile. This is where you had highlighted 13 tips for the best LinkedIn profile page.
Oh, okay. You can go to the homepage there. There's articles there, but that's our little Tarsier monkey. This is a Filipino monkey, by the way, blue eyes, our icon. But mainly, I think that, like you were saying, your next question was Blacks are left behind in tech. We're not told. I had 500 Black clients, and like I said, in the States, my magazine, when I was there in Kansas City, and I let them down and I failed the situation. I'm rebooting that now with Black Freedom Magazine, the reboot of Minority Success. And then I realized they didn't tell me, and if they had told Black folks that we could outsource, that why are we doing all these 10 years ago, I wouldn't have lost my business. And so we launched this tech company to be able to have people where they list their jobs, like in JobStreet and Monster, and then they save 50%. By outsourcing it to a Black tech outsourcing minority-led company.
Okay.
And then white companies won't talk to usually Black companies because we're too small. They don't want to talk to us. And so we end up being the ones paying premium. I'm sure that you know that. We pay premium for stuff. We don't have the help, or we got to have all this upfront money. But we know that Trump's ties are made in China, but we don't realize how we can have our own ties. We know it, but no one says, well, this is how he did it. And you know that Trump pays more taxes here where I'm at than he does in the US. It's a very known, funny national. Yeah, he pays more taxes here in the Philippines with his Trump Towers, and Paris Hilton has a resort here and all of that crap than they do in the States. But they don't tell Blacks that, right?
No. And, he does that conversation with Donald Trump is that can get definitely very long, but that was one of the beefs about what they were saying was that Trump doesn't pay taxes. Well, yeah, he does.
Okay. I learned. I went to the Trump Academy. I learned this the way they did it. Robert Kiyosaki and him are best homies. They had a book together. I went to that seminar. I got those books. I learned. I was in that world before. But what happened was they didn't tell us how, like, connect you.
Okay, and that right there is kind of where the break is. I mean, because the key, what's the number one key to starting a new business or whatever? The hows. It is always the question. How do I do it? Right. And I think that I will say this. If you want to know how, you have to educate yourself, because I did hear you share two places that you went. You understood or attended the Robert Kiyosaki business information and the read the books and everything. You have to educate yourself, desire it. You have to want it, and it has to become a lifestyle for you, so that you can better understand where you want to go, or what you want to do with business, and then branch out and do it, right? But that's kind of what I'm hearing too, is that, okay, well, technology and everything, it's all well and good, and this is what's important, but we still have to assume responsibility for what we do. You know, if it's about business, then let it be about business. If it's about, I just want to get that good job, then let it be about the good job. We have a great career management class that will show you how to go out there and get that great job if that's what you're wanting to do. You know, even the techniques are there, your resumes and things like that. So the process is what it needs to be, but be honest, right? So don't hate the guy that says he wants to be a business owner, that he's an entrepreneur, you know.
But they don't hate them from COVID. They probably have a lot more respect now.
Yeah.
40 million unemployed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
People like you boomed in COVID. I mean, you maybe didn't boom financially yet, but you sure broke out of your whatever it was.
Yes.
And in another year, there are going to be a whole lot of folks, the companies, delivery companies, global companies like our outs.us. They can also go to outs.com and forwards, but it's outs.us where, we're born out of it. And I'll tell you this too. And I really want to say this to Black folks specifically, is that I didn't get any bailout money. No one I know got bailout money.
Oh my goodness. Let's not even go there.
And
reject after reject. I'm like, what are you talking about here? I have all the
no check. So if you needed that bailout money to pay your bills, you better rethink your life. I didn't need it. No one I know. I'm in a third world country. I know folks that make $500 or $300 a month, but they okay. From COVID, whereas you heard about 50 million evictions in America. We're abroad looking, what? The richest country in the world? How is that possible? Whereas you know what? Because we're buying Gucci's and Pradas and Slides and all this crap. We're worshiping all these false gods around, material wealth. I mean, money.
Yes, I do. It
woke them up to realize if you lost your house, if you lost your car during COVID, maybe like me, reflect and think, okay, God, wait a second now. I didn't die. My mother didn't disown me.
Yeah.
My wife didn't leave me, or hopefully she didn't. But, if she did, in other words, you can reinvent yourself with less. So this time when you achieve the goal that you want, you don't have all these expenses. You can enjoy it more. And what I did in my situation, and what I did was turn my money into time. So now I work, 40 hours, 50 hours a month, as opposed to working 50, 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week, killing myself and still being broke, which is what we do in America, right? We work overtime, we work everything. And in the month, we're still fucking broke. Excuse me. I'm sorry. We're still broke.
I think that,
I said, okay, well, I need this amount of money to live. And if I make that in a week or a month or 2 weeks, I'm done. And that's what I decided to do, not kill myself like we do in America. We just work. Every movie you see, we're at work.
Well, that's kind of that's the way that the movies and the television projects us. Now to work is a good thing, but work smart. You don't have to work hard to kill yourself, right? It's about, there's a balance, and he even calls for us to have a balance, in our lives.
Buy smart. And mind you, if Jesus worked every day and was stuck, how would he have time to be a prophet?
Yeah.
How can you find your real true passion in life if you're stuck in here? And I don't mean a business. I don't mean if you're pushing a company. I mean, if you're working a job and you're still broke, rethink. Because God gave us talents that are not at that job. And usually we never learn those talents because we're so busy working. But we're
working, but then we're not sacrificing too, I think, Brother Kareem, because people have plenty time to binge watch, right? So the distractions come. No, I'm just going to say, I mean, that devil, that TV, shoot,
That's true. That's
those
true. I don't watch
shows.
TV. That's
Yeah, I
I don't
don't
watch
watch
TV.
TV
Yeah,
either. I
that's
get excited. I say, "Well, I'm gonna watch me a show," and then it's like I'll sit there and it's like, ugh,
it's
you
true.
know,
It's true. It's
you
true.
know. So
It's
I
true.
mean, you have time. Let's just be honest, and that's kind of where we go with all of our training here. Look, if you want it, we can train you on it, but you do have time, and it's about the sacrifice of it, not so much that
That's
we
true.
don't have
It's
it.
true. I
But
don't want to downgrade the working part of it. That's not what I mean.
well, I get it.
I just think that a lot of people during COVID, they realized work isn't everything.
Yeah,
You
it's
need
not.
a side hustle. You need to know entrepreneurship. You need to, because it's not guaranteed, and mind you, Black folks, we're not the ones in corporate America getting the raise and the promotions.
Mhm.
We're not the ones retiring from T-Mobile and these companies usually.
Yeah.
And,
I
and,
was shocked
and
to hear that some folks was doing some. You're getting a pension. You retired. They let you retire. Oh my goodness! You still have a 401k. Oh my goodness!
yeah,
Dude.
it's
Yeah.
true. And I think what is it? Black outsourcing, left behind. Okay, we got over your topics. Yeah. Okay. I just think it's one of those things where I'm saying to Black folks back home in Kansas City, Ann, is that we were freed a long time ago.
Mhm.
And now we're stuck, a lot of us, in the American plantation, and now we need to realize being free and being an American citizen, fully American citizen now, no matter how you're treated in America, get your dang passport. That's
Yes,
your
I
right
do
too.
believe in a
Go see how
passport.
people are living,
That's right.
because it changes your perspective in a way that I can't explain to you, but for each person is probably different. I don't mean going back to Ghana necessarily, and you have to do all that, but that'd be great too. Africa changed my perspective when I was a very young boy. I saw a Black bank president, a Black president of the country, Black executives. So I didn't have this block in my head that it wasn't possible that I hear about.
Mm.
But I think a lot of us haven't really understood that being free means you can you can travel, you can invest anywhere. You can do whatever you want. And that's their biggest fear, is that you wake up to that, because they're already doing it. When I got off this plane, and the first time I had my company here, I outsourced. I'd never been to the Philippines, never been to Asia. I already had a company here because I outsourced and saved money, right?
Right.
I came here for the first time and got off the plane. My emotion was anger.
Mm.
I really felt pissed off. I was like, what? How is it that you're bankrupt in America and you didn't pay me 7-Eleven, but here you have fabulous stores? How is it that Trump, you're filing bankruptcy 7 times, but I'm going to go meet people to market your Trump Tower in Asia? And I think, and then FUBU, love you. They sold to another company. Here, they're right next to the Gucci store.
Oh.
But when we had FUBU, it was in the hood. And so the anger was, why don't they tell
because they had to
Black
come and
folks
get
this?
the African American money, the African American
we're
dollar.
cool. It was cool. We are cool in America. We are so beat down, like you, Black sister. You don't realize, you as a Black woman in tech, these companies are begging for Blacks in tech. There's entire organizations created, mainly in Europe. I do, like you said, but for Blacks in tech, because they need us. It's not about employment, right? We're not unemployable. Americans are working. It's because they need that culture. They need what we bring, because what they see that we don't see as Blacks is, we see Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal and all these great names. What they see is Negroes in 1950 changed the NBA and they took the world. So they think, we got to get some Negroes.
Yeah, well,
they said T-Mobile killed the phone industry. So if you're here and you're smart, or you're Globe, they realize that we got to get some Black customers.
Well, it all does turn to the pendulum of faith, right? I mean, we're who we are in that, the faith of the entrepreneur continues on. I as a Christian entrepreneur, I'm gonna definitely press my way to continue on and be as polished in Christ. I'm going to say it. I mean, because I'm representing. Am I really representing my
Me too.
company, or am I representing him?
There's no way. And
Yeah.
mind you, the way that we see Jesus, like I told you, I think before, the way that Black folks see Jesus is, and when you travel, you know that is your biggest strength.
Mm-hmm.
When you know Blacks from all over the world, and you're Black American, you sitting there and go, I literally be at meetings like, yo, I'm not really worried because I know God loves me. I'm gonna figure this out. This is not I've been through worse.
Yes.
We can survive in America with all that crap and succeed. You can succeed anywhere. And a lot of folks, we have a perspective about Jesus that we can see Jesus in the worst moment. You hear about slaves being beaten and praying for the white person in the moment. We're the only ones that can say that, besides maybe, Jews and Moses and that movie, right? But the actual sit here and people to see me at a meeting when we're about to lose everything and be like, Jesus, please give me the wisdom, or either saying, Lord, let me thank you for XYZ. Because in business, those are called assets. There's different words for it.
Okay.
That's called vision. That's called a business plan. That doesn't exist.
And that's real. That all of that is real, and it's real. To the Christian believer, and I'm just going to give a plug out. Look, don't think that it's boring, that entrepreneurs can't be Christians and all of that. Look, the life that he gives us, it's real. And yes, you just eloquently shared how, look, these terms are real terms, and they are real in the lives of people, not just to be played and said, hey, we're played down, but to understand what those terms really are in the real world of business.
And let me, and sister, if you tell your flock, we are the only ones that I've met, and I have business partners from all over the world, especially even with Black folks, that have that thing, and we all know that we are God's favorite, in the Bible, we know it. And when you're sitting in around the world and you have this thing, and you're wondering, why do these folks want Black folk? You think about it and you realize, and I'll be at meetings, because remember, the world is very religious. They pass the church, they cross their heart. When you're with foreigners, they're very religious. Muslims, I got to stop my prayer.
Yeah, they get their prayer time.
I'm Muslim, right? It's not like we're selling God. But the way that we see blessings, the way that we see our skills is very unique to the way that we see Jesus Christ. And when you're in business as a Christian, it is the number one asset, because you have faith, which is in business. All that means is you have vision. You have a business plan, you have a faith that it's going to happen, and you don't just not do anything, but being able to see a cabinet like a Black woman half empty and then make a meal. That's a joke to Black folks. But when you travel the world, they look at it as Black folks have something from nothing. That's what they see. They can take $1 million budget and make 20 million. That's what they see. And that's a skill that's very linked to our Christianity. And the big thing I can tell you is, as recently I saw a vision of a slave woman who was being beaten and praying at that moment. And the people in my boardroom were like, wow. And I'm thinking, well, what's she supposed to do? But it clicked on me thinking they would be crying, running, dying, saying, please, Lord, kill me. There'd be so many different things. Whereas we sitting there saying, Lord, please help this white man. He knows not for what he does. And that ability, is why we're very good at business. It's why the Black is trending right now. Because they look at us with Black Lives Matter and all that globally, is how did these Black folks endure all of this, but we're still top in NBA. We're still top in business. We're still top in entertainment. The world is baffled. So I'm just saying that about my plug for my testimony.
Well, that's super. And I appreciate it, because here's the thing. We can when we say inclusive, there was a big deal in the education field, the curriculum of inclusion. I think that people, whether you're European, American, Indian, from India, Pakistan, Africa, coming over on a visa to work or whatever, people need to understand the truth about who we really are as a people, as Americans. We're multicultural. Uh, uh, Facet of
Mhm.
human beings that make the world go round. America is America because of Americans. And one thing about obstruction of justice, I enjoy talking to all walks of life, European American people we've had on the show featuring their businesses. And this
Mhm.
has been definitely rich in your passion and your journey and being able to share with us your belief in what's going on here, and then share with us your testimony of your success and also your encouragement of how to press on and what to do. Let's go international, because really,
Yeah.
guys, that's where they're going with the world. The world is going international. With the new world order, guess what? It's real. Okay.
It's
So the
real.
question becomes, how do we handle it? What do we do? How do we prepare ourselves? And I think that one of the first things that we can do is like to enlighten ourselves in our gifts so that we can take our hustles and passions and turn them into businesses, encourage our children, encourage ourselves to educate ourselves. ASBNC training and consulting, we do whatever kind of training you need, especially tech training, business planning. We do all kinds of training. If there's a particular training that you need, we can get it done. We actually outsource. If I can't do it, if others, we have someone on our team that can do it. We work with people as 1099s even to get work done for us. So we can get it done for you. But to educate yourself to the point to where you're honest with what it is you want to do, I think is really the main key too about the progression and the success of a people to grow into this new world order that's here, this great reset.
Mhm.
They're
It's
hollering
amazing
about.
too. It's a blessed time for us, And I look at this. This was given to me by this is the number one. Um, this is a little doll, but can you see Black Nazareth? Can you see that? Wait. Can you see that?
Oh, I
This is
do
Black
see that.
Nazareth. I have a Black Jesus here. This is the most popular icon here in Asia, in the Philippines, is the Black Nazareth.
Oh my
You know,
goodness.
so when you travel the world, you start realizing that, oh my God, that people don't look at Black people as that. And that symbolizes good luck, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Right. And I
Okay.
have another huge one in my house that I got when I first came. They gave me when I first came to Asia. And I was like, I've never seen a Black. I didn't even know there was a Black bishops and Black, saints. I never even knew that. But here they're like, no, there's a few, and I think it's one of those things where we just need to get out and really see and get our
Mhm.
inspiration back, you know.
Yes.
Um, and I'm glad that you're doing this show. I'm glad that you guys are helping folks back home. I'm so glad that you're in my hometown is doing wonderful. I'm a Kansas City boy. I'm 5720 Agnes, where I was born, y'all.
Oh
Right there
boy.
at Mercy Hospital. Yeah, it's and it really hurts my heart to see so many of our people back home struggling when here everything that we do is top notch.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's a
Working
good
at
report.
7-Eleven is a great job. McDonald's, all of these things that we do, we shouldn't be
Yeah,
struggling.
that's a good report. Good morning, Julius. Now, my
Yes,
guess
good
is
morning.
he's in a place where it's morning,
Yeah.
just like
Oh,
our
I see.
guest
Yeah.
here.
Oh my God. Good morning. Thanks. That's right. Good morning, Julius. Yes, that's my executive assistant here in the Philippines Islands. I mean, good. He's awake this morning. Yeah. Get up. Wake up.
Okay. All
Get the day
right.
started. It's almost the weekend, baby.
Super cool. Brother Kareem, you have to come back. This is just we just broke just a little piece. We broke just a little bread today. Huh? Just a little bit. I don't like going over time here, but You're definitely just
He
intriguing.
started late, so we're okay.
Your conversation is just intriguing, and we definitely need to come back. Shout outs to you for your book, your website out here,
Thank you.
outs.us.
Yeah, outs.us, you guys. 10 minutes can save you 50% or more off your labor cost, and it's the first Black-owned tech outsourcing platform where we actually work with Black minority small businesses to help them to get the benefits that I got, so that they can grow their businesses and scale just like the big boys do. But it's not usually offered to Black folks. And I work with white outsourcing companies and British outsourcing companies and minorities too, to make it happen. But in the day, it's catered towards us.
Okay.
And of course, creamantonio.com, which is my main website. Mainly what I do, we do ebooks for people. We do websites and things like that. We have a promo for websites for $350 right now. We have an ebook for $999 right now. All of these things were created during COVID to help specifically Black and small business folks. Usually we're not that cheap. We're pretty expensive. We did those packages. I begged for my partners, like, Black folks need $350. They got $350.
Yeah.
And they need to go digital.
Yeah. We did some price adjusting on our classes too, our courses. Just,
it's like, we need to come down to these people, sister. We need to, we got to get you and me some more Black folks, because Black folks need us. We don't need them.
Well,
Black
I love
folks
them.
need folks like
I
us
love
to
all
step
people.
in and say, hey, we're here to help you out.
Yeah. I love them. I love my people. I love our people. I love Americans. And that's kind of where we're going with this. I love Americans, and really you're a great American too, Brother Kareem.
Thank you.
I appreciate
8.7 million of us are out here, sister.
Oh,
Expats.
wow.
8.7 million. When we vote, we're the votes that Trump was talking about. We're the absentee voters. That's the ones he was saying, oh, no, don't let them, not including military. 8.7 people like me, and a lot of us are Black out here, that we could swing Chicago.
Oh my goodness!
How many of us vote from absentee ballots? Just FYI, you wouldn't be alone.
Get your passports, guys. Get your passports. Brother Kareem, you have to come back and share with us some more. Please do, and just take care. And I'm just going to have to chat with you. You just got too much going on, my brother. I'm excited about some of our conversations that's coming up. And just thank you. Thank you so much.
And congratulations on what you do, too, you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for joining another Obstruction to Justice broadcast. And, just get your passport. Be encouraged. Hang in there with that business. Teach your kids. Educate yourself and your kids about something that you're really wanting to learn about, and grow in those ideas and gifts that God has given you. All right. And we'll see you next time.
Justice now.
Justice now.